Today we're going to talk about why a common item that you can find all over the place can sell for $5,000 or more. Hey, it's Don. Today we're going to talk about a very specific niche that's all over the place. Something that you can get fairly cheap that can sell for thousands of dollars. We're going to talk about postcards today. I've picked a few. We're going to show you some close-ups of these, and I'm going to talk about why they are expensive. We're going to talk a little bit about the history, why they are valuable. We're going to look into the details on these items as well. Having more knowledge on these sorts of items will really increase your bottom line. You'll be able to source more effectively. You'll be able to know what to pay for it. You'll know how to price it. You'll know how to research it. Key factors you need to know if you want to really make some good money selling things like this. So let's look a little closer at some of these postcards here. I just picked a few because I just want you to get the idea on why a postcard carries a high value. Now let's start with what a RPPC, real photo, real picture postcard is. It's actually just what it sounds like. Somebody took a real photo and had it printed on a card back that has a postcard stamping. Or sometimes they're printed and then someone stamps the back onto the postcard. Someone went out with a normal camera and took this. There were companies, businesses, that this was their livelihood. They would travel around starting in the turn of the century, around 1900. From town to town, they'd take photos and try and market them to one of the local establishments, a pharmacy, a grocery store, dry goods, city council, hotels, whatever the case may be, so that the hotel or business could then make some money and sell them. Hey, come here, shop with us. It's a form of advertisement as well. Sometimes the postcard you may run into that's the real photo may be a one-of-a-kind. It may be a family image of like Uncle Joe or Jesse or somebody, you know, who they knew. And it may be a one-of-a-kind, just like a portrait. Now, many of these you'll get a negative, and they could have made many of them. The ones that were mass-produced, well, I shouldn't say mass-produced, but the ones that were produced like this one here, Alexandria Hotel in Hemet, California. Somebody walked over there and took this photo and then probably marketed it to the place. They could have hired somebody even to do this and take photos to show the styling, the Native American Pueblo look that this building has, this hotel. And this is circa 1910-ish or so. So why would some of these be worth thousands and thousands? Sometimes it may be an early image of somebody very famous. Wright brothers, Babe Ruth, or somebody like that, Ty Cobb, or somebody very well known. And it may be a very specific event. Events are always good. Buildings, hotels, travel, just like I've talked about before. Anything related to planes usually carries a little bit of a value up to a ton of value. You've got steamship lines. A Titanic postcard can be worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars. One signed by someone famous or sent from the ship, you know, by someone famous or something. There's many different reasons why a specific can be worth a ton of money. This is an area that I would always center in if I'm looking for postcards. Real picture, real photo, RPPC postcards are what usually sells the highest out of the entire category of postcards over and over again. There are some hold to the lights and other things like that. I'll have a link up here to hold to the light cards. I do have a special video just on those, talking about some of the values on those also. So if you want to know a little more about what a hold to the light is, there you go with that link. Now here's the back on that postcard, and this is typically what you will find on a real photo, a real picture postcard. This is actually photo paper, basically. Early photo paper that's thicker, the same size and construction of a postcard. You could take them into a shop, you could get a camera kit, and you could print them as well yourself, if I'm not mistaken. As well, you go to a studio and have these made all day long. AZO is the company. Now, you can look up who that is. There's probably 20 or 30 different types of back marks, and I would call this a back mark. The AZO is up here where it says place stamp here. Now, a lot of people will tell you that if there's a line down the back, it was made after 1907. That's not always the case. After 1907, the laws change and things like that. So they put a line down the back, and usually you can tell. But a lot of the real picture postcards you run into won't have that line up into the 20s, even in 30s. And you'll find other ones as well, too. Here's another interesting postcard from 1915 or so. This is from the Panama Pacific International Expo. It's a World's Fair of sorts, and this is Toyland there. There would have been businesses, and you can see the giant toy soldiers with the giant blocks. This is early. This is a very, very interesting photo. Rather unique. We can take some close-up looks at this as well, so you can kind of see the quality on a photo like this. Now, this is why the value goes way up. When you blow something like this up, it's a quality photo. You can see a lot of details. Ticket booths, there's a soldier or a police officer there. There's a shaving place, a convenience station, a men's room, there's a scale. This photo is loaded. You can see kind of how the figures are constructed. It's just got a lot of detail, a lot going for it. You can see the early lights and the whole works. Now, this pavilion isn't opened at this point, would be my guess. You can search out all sorts of information about this. PPIE, Panama Pacific International Expo. And this is card number 26. There were many other cards, so this is just one to show you an example. Now, another question I get asked all the time is, does it matter if the card was mailed? If there's a stamp on the back, if there's writing and a cancellation on the back? No, 99% of the time it does not matter if it's used or not used. I don't care, and neither do most collectors. They want the image on the front of the card. If they're going to display this, put this in an album or something, it's the front that everybody is going to see. Now, this is a unique one. There is a 1-cent stamp. Now, looking at the stamp, I also get a ton of people asking me questions and assuming that the stamp is worth a lot of money because people say stamps are worth a fortune many times. Well, this is a 1-cent stamp that they made tens of millions of to mail tens of millions of postcards. So this is a very common stamp. We've had probably 5 million postcards in my inventory throughout the past 25 or better years. I've only found one stamp on all of those postcards that was worth something, so I barely even look at the stamps. I found more cancellations, and again, this is a cancellation. World's Panama Pacific Exposition in San Francisco, 1915. This is probably mailed there from the expo itself. Now, that's another interesting fact, but it doesn't raise the value. It's still worth what the front of the card is worth. The value 99.99% of the time from a real photo, real picture postcard comes from the image on the front. Now, here's another one. Condition I hear asked all the time. What about condition? This one's not in super tip-top condition. It has some issues with it. In fact, we can blow this one up as well, too, so you can kind of see. Now, this is a little blurry of an image, but you've got enough information probably to identify this. There's always something interesting in these photos. If you look here, you've got a gentleman and another person hanging out the window. Chances are that these folks here may have asked to have this taken of their business, because that's what we're looking at here. Another sign here for some other type of shop. There's a car, sign. Street images are always good. Now, there is some damage. There's a spot on the card where some of the design, the image is missing. I still don't worry about that. It's still a sellable card depending on the amount of damage. Creases and corner issues, I don't usually worry about. City scenes are always good. Cars, signs, lights, people, anything downtown is usually good, especially if it's a small city. Things that just don't happen anymore. People don't congregate downtown in small cities anymore like they used to. Here's another car. Another thing to think about when you're looking for these. Cars where you can see the license plate are almost always good. People can date them. They can say where, the person was from and the whole works. Now, this has a Texas plate on it. Someone can track down that license plate number 99% of the time and figure out who even owned this car at this time. And then you could even say who this person was standing there, chances are. Chances of someone else besides the owner actually standing next to the car are very, very slim in early photos like this. This gentleman paid a lot of money for this car back then, and he's paying money to have a photo taken. Now, there's also like a automobile club or some sort of actual permit plate up here too. Now, you could probably even figure out what that is, and in some cases it might be where he works or where he lives, and you can also track that information down too. So images like this are very ideal if you can read the plate number, where the plate's from, or any other information in there. Now here's the back of this one. Again, the same basic back as you can see. These would date to around 1905, 1910. 15 is like the key area where many of these ASIO backs were produced. Again, the back isn't so much the issue. The issue is it a real photo postcard, a real picture postcard? Now here's another interesting one, and I think this is Flomissa or Floker Avenue, and this is Hemet, California as well. Now this one's loaded with stuff in the image. The signs, all the other stuff in here. With a postcard like this, you can add all kinds of things to the image. We can go up and even zoom up a little more, and you can really see the detail of the downtown here. There's a bakery, Frigidaire advertising, interesting cafe here, Frigidaire, printing offices, hardware, sports. I mean, there's a lot of information. You can see all the flags. You can see a Texaco gas station. This is the sort of image that's worth decent money, depending on the city, of course. Now, if it's a mass-produced one, obviously it won't carry the value of a small town. The small towns are usually the ones that go for the most money. Something you've never heard of, some small quaint town, because they didn't make many of them, so there's very few of them around. Sometimes the town name changed, it was incorporated into another city, so the town wouldn't exist even anymore in many cases, so there's many other issues. Now, train depots, trains, transportation, as I said, are always good. Steamship lines, any of that sort of thing. Now, here's the back of this card here. Another ASIO card. It's got some, looks like ink run from them putting the postcard markings on the back, but still, same basic principle here. Now, famous people, musicians, radio station, all that sort of things are good tie-ins. This is the Three Tumbleweeds. It's a young group. They did country music back in the 1910s, 20s area for KGDM radio. Now you can look who that up is. It's someone known. They have some records out, so it's fairly well known. They actually signed it on the front, and this is the sort of card you will really be looking for. Famous people and all of that sort of thing. Again, the key to this one, it's a real photo. It's a real picture, real photo postcard of someone well known back in that time frame. So those are all key factors to know. Real photo, real picture postcards are the ones I always go after first. Santa Claus, Christmas, Halloween are, of course, very, very desirable. But real photo are really where I can get better money because they have multi-category interests many times. If it's someone famous like this, photo card collectors, postcard collectors, musical collectors, radio collectors from there, city collectors from there. There's many different reasons. Autograph collectors on something like this. So the more people that would be interested in something, usually the better money you can get for something like that. Now, the cards I've shown you too, value-wise, bottom end $20. The Toyland one from the Panama Pacific International Expo, I've already sold for $40 in the past. So average price on these cards is at least $25 on the ones I'm showing you. Now, something like this one here, these musicians, I could get $100 for it, $125 to the right person. Same goes for most of these sorts of postcards. If they're scarce or rare, they're usually worth more money. California cards are usually worth more money to me as well. I'm usually able to get more out of those. California has a large chunk of the population of this whole country, so there's more collectors of California cards than there are many other ones. Hence, the price does go up more. But this is just a touch on this, just give you a little idea on what's important. Answer some of those questions that people are always wondering. Some postcards can, in fact, go for $4,000, $5,000. Babe Ruth, Ty Cobb, the Wright brothers. I've shown them in another video. In fact, I'll put a link up here to another video where you can see some postcards going for $4,000 to $6,000 if you want to see the bread and butter for many people in the paper postcard category. But anyway, that's what I have for you today. Well, there you have it. Hopefully that gave you some ideas, some thoughts on this. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.
Merry Christmas. By now you know I'm the star of this Yuletide show. But only for one day, you see. The rest of the year is yours to be. So be good to the young ones you hold so dear. Into every day, put a little Christmas cheer. Be proud of the family and the family tree, from the oldest to the one on his knee. So to Grandpa and Grandma, sister and brother, uncle and aunt, father and mother, this wish I bring, that you love each other. Merry Christmas.